It's Lisa here with a love note for January 19th, 2021. Happy Tuesday. After the love note yesterday, my guides laughed at me. They said, wow, that was clever. It appears that when I stay true to script and actually read what they tell me, that it's an indication that I am avoiding something within myself. Because they said that part of the reason of having me do these actually is not only to share their information, but also to put to put it in human connotation. And that, my interest in staying true to what they're saying and keep these short means that I was missing the component of actually the human side that shows how it affects me. So they asked that I come back and correct that error of my ways today, which is kind of a perfect segue into today's topic, which is about the essence of self-compassion. And what they said is that self-compassion is really essential to be able to recognize and embody our own divinity. And that when we are not compassionate to ourselves, it denies us knowing about our own divine nature. Right now, the energies around the world are crazy. Some of you are seeing it in other people. Some of you are feeling it within yourselves in terms of maybe easy to trigger, trending toward depression, just sadness, frustration, irritability, anxiety, any of this. And it could be a whole lot of other things too. A desire to hermit in your house like I'm doing right now and just steer clear of the rest of the world, whatever it might be for you. But the energies are wild. And so right now it's particularly important that we have compassion for other people who are also experiencing all the wild energies in their own way, but that we have compassion for ourselves, recognizing that we may be getting triggered in ways that are not normal for us, or that we know how to respond better, but sometimes we forget and we act like jerks. And I found myself in that situation yesterday. I was triggered about something and I kind of lashed out and I was like, oh crap. Later I was like, I don't want to do that. That's not how I am and who I am. And I am forgetting the better part of myself. But to be honest, I kind of beat myself up for it for a while first. And that's what they're asking us to not do. Right now, what's weird about right now is that we are straddling two different ways of looking at the world. We've got one foot firmly planted in 3D, in this 3D reality that's all around us, this third dimensional duality, polarity, everything that we know. As we are making our way and raising our awareness and, upping our energy and holding higher frequencies toward this 5D future. But we're straddling it. And so sometimes we're really, hanging out in a higher state of consciousness, operating from a place of unconditional love and compassion and unity and all this stuff. And then we get triggered and we act like our old 3D selves. And it's really easy for us to be hard on ourselves about that. But this is part of our process right now. Hey, Joy, I'm so glad you're watching. Thank you. So they're asking us to be easy on ourselves. This whole idea of self-compassion being essential for recognizing our own divinity. This is something that they asked me to bring up that I really didn't want to talk about. And it's kind of about my own relationship with the divine. I think it might be an understatement to say that perhaps the first, half of my life, if not more, was filled with some daddy issues, okay? And unfortunately, I never felt like I was good enough. Like nothing I did was good enough. I was some kind of a disappointment. There was always something wrong, whether it was the size of my ass or getting an A- instead of an A on a report card, or not bowling right, or whatever the hell the issue was. I was criticized a lot and didn't, and so it was really easy to internalize a lot of that and actually believe it. And as a result, I found that it affected my relationship with the divine, because a lot of my, first half of my life was defined by this vision of God as like some big, long bearded dude in a big, robe standing on a mountain that was angry and pissed off and for whom I could never satisfy, even if I tried. And I went through this part of my life feeling like I was some kind of a big letdown to God, that no matter what I did, I was going to be a disappointment to the divine. That's some kind of heavy stuff, right? And I realized that was like an 8-year-old's thinking, like an 11-year-old's thinking, like a young girl's way of thinking that I put on God and allowed it to be my relationship there. I needed to outgrow that. I needed to move beyond that. But it was weird because on one hand, I felt like I've got some kind of a mission here on this planet and something big that I'm supposed to be doing. And clearly I must be screwing it up and I'm letting God down. Or on the other hand, who the hell do I think I am to be anything special? I'm nothing special, So it was like damned if I do, damned if I don't way of looking at things, totally rooted in a lack of self-compassion and a lack of a recognition of my own divinity. I used to think, when I would go to church and would hear, do unto others, or love your neighbor as you would love yourself. I thought, well, that's kind of a crock of crap because I'm actually a lot nicer to other people than I am to myself, and knowing that a lot of us are kind of assholes to ourselves. And if you're one, just know I feel you and I love you. But I could easily see the light in other people, but I denied myself the gift of recognizing the light within me and being willing to honor that. And that's what I had to shift. And honestly, I had to go, kind of extreme the other way and really sink into the divine feminine aspects. I mean, when I used to go to church, I went to an Episcopal church and we would say the Nicene Creed out loud. I would always change like the words, first of all, but the gender of the Holy Spirit. I needed the Holy Spirit to be female. I needed the divine feminine in my experience because it helped to soften and help to heal the unhealed version of the divine masculine in my brain, my 8-year-old, 11-year-old brain, that thinking just came forward with me. So I was a little bit of a rebel, but whatever. I even did the Sacred Woman Wednesday videos for a while that focused on divine feminine, goddesses from across all, spiritual belief systems, because that was part of helping me to heal both of those aspects for me and finding a place of self-compassion. It was like in sinking into and being nurtured by the Divine Mother. I felt that compassion and started allowing that compassion to shape how I viewed myself. And in healing that, I was able to lean back into the divine masculine because I was healing my daddy issues too. And so the self-compassion thing is really kind of a fascinating concept that, one thing they did say, they said right now, especially the energies are intense and triggering, we need to come back to self-compassion. They said that gratitude for the miracle of you is one way to come back to self-compassion, that when we can start actually being grateful for who we are and how we show up and what we're here to do on this planet, and have gratitude for the miracle of these billions and trillions of cells and atoms animated within our body, holding divine spirit out, able and sometimes even willing to share it into the world, that is such a miracle in and of itself, that can help us start having self-compassion as well. They said to remember that we are not just worthy, but we are completely deserving of love. Divine love, which is always there, unconditional, never leaves when we allow ourselves to actually see it, but completely deserving of our own love too. And that is such a powerful concept. We are not always going to get it right. We're kind of not expected to. That's this whole train ride of being human, is that we screw up. Sometimes we act like assholes. Sometimes we act in ways that we know that we're better than that. But with awareness and a heart driven by compassion for ourselves, we can see the lesson, we can see the opportunity to grow, we can see how we can do better next time, and we can see how we can love ourselves deeper. and in a more real way. Not only because of our strengths, but also because of the strength of our flaws and what they have to teach us as well. We don't grow through perfection. We grow from screwing up. that's how we learn. And when we give ourselves enough credit to recognize that nobody ever expected us to be perfect, that maybe we're the ones that expected that we have an opportunity to be a little nicer to ourselves. Now, this isn't to say that self-compassion is like some free ticket for you to go out and be an asshole to other people and get off scot-free. It's not a free pass to be an asshole to others. But self-compassion is an invitation to not be an asshole to yourself. Can we do that? Can we make ourselves that one promise for 5 minutes, for an hour, for the rest of today? That if we catch ourselves being an asshole, being, lacking in self-compassion, to view that as an opportunity to find some gratitude or to love ourselves even more. Because what I'm told and kind of shown from the guides and from the divine is that if we could experience, even for a millisecond, the extreme and unconditional love and unconditional acceptance that our guides and our team and the divine had for us, we would never again doubt whether we were worthy or deserving of our own love, because it would be so overwhelmingly obvious that it would shift the way we show up for ourselves, as ourselves, in every minute moving forward. This morning, I have this bad habit of dance breaks in the bathroom, like when I put on my makeup and stuff. My late husband, he used to always say, we would be getting ready in the bathroom together, and he would be like, "Wow, you're gonna have a good day today." I'm like, "Well, why do you say that?" He was like, "You're dancing and singing, and that's always an indication it's gonna be a good day." Which I never realized, and it turns out it was true. Well, this morning, and I'm going to put the link to this, or if somebody out there watching wants to look it up and share the link, that would be awesome. But the song Burning Man by Dierks Bentley came on, and the lyrics were so good in comparison for what this message is all about. The idea that sometimes we're a little bit of this and sometimes we're a little bit of that, and that's how it is. It's like straddling that 3D, 4D thing. Sometimes I'm a little bit of holy water and other times I'm burning man, was kind of the concept. And it just felt so right. And I tell you, it takes twice as long to get ready in the morning when you're trying to put on makeup and shake your ass at the same time. Does anyone else have this problem? We are walking into a brave, new, strange world where we are being asked to experience life in 3D, to deal with the bombardment of energetic shit coming at us from what I call the astral jackrabbits in 4D and beyond, who are putting up the last fights of trying to hold on to this duality system. We are feeling all of that. They are turning up the dial on the energetic attacks, and we're feeling it, and the people around us are feeling it. When we stay in our light, and when we hold on to our own self-compassion and our own love for ourselves, we can walk through this with greater ease and grace by not getting quite as triggered, but by also, when we have compassion for ourselves, it's also a lot easier to give compassion to other people. That doesn't give them a free pass for being jackrabbits, but we don't have to take it on as it meaning something about us. Whew. So that's your invitation for today, remembering always that you are loved and you are so worthy and deserving of divine love, and also worthy and deserving of your own love. Today, all days, always, in all ways. Just remember that. I'm going to look over at the comments really fast. Karen, I love you. I'm glad you're watching these, and I'm so thankful for your comments. Oh, Joy, yeah, those formative years are serious. And what's wild is here 40 years later, to look back and go, oh, wow, I'm still holding on to this crap that wasn't even mine from 40 years ago because somebody else was in a troubled spot and didn't treat himself with self-compassion. Had he had greater self-compassion, he would have treated the rest of us with greater self-compassion too. We don't have to repeat those cycles. And in recognizing it, we can decide that stops with us and that the people around us don't have to experience what that was like. I am going to go look, Lynn. Yes, self-compassion. I'm glad you're hearing it in a different way. Hopefully it's helpful. This is encouragement to take care of you right now. We are living in some weird, funky times, and I think y'all probably feel it. Taking care of yourself matters, but this goes beyond, salt baths and mani-pedis and massages, although those are beautiful things too. But being compassionate and taking care of your own heart. And sometimes that means healing your mind, healing the thoughts that no longer serve you, healing any thought or belief system that says that you are unworthy or not deserving, healing anything that takes away your sense of empowerment and your recognition that you are divine. We all are. And sometimes we can see it in other people, or we can say, oh, only those people from history get to be divine. And everything my guides come in and tell me is that divine spark is within and animates every single one of us. That is the part of us that was made in the nature of the Creator. That's the part we need to remember and that we need to have compassion and love for. That's the part that connects us to the all that is. That's the part that allows us to find unconditional love for others and for ourselves, and to strive toward this more positive, more beautiful future. So with that, just remember you are loved, you are worthy and deserving of love, including your own, and you're just simply invited to also pay that love forward, because there are a lot of people on this earth right now who have forgotten their own worthiness and their own deservingness of love. And it could be that your spark is exactly what they need to remember. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow.